The topic for today is the concept of 3, 4, 5, 6 to manage stress in day-to-day life. And this is an area which is very close to my heart, and this is very beneficial for people, not only for engineers, not only for teachers and professors or academicians or researchers. This is a very useful concept for people from all walks of life. What is stress? It is very pertinent to understand what exactly is stress. Stress is a very widely and one of the most frequently used word in English throughout the world these days. Stress and tension, these are the word. This is the word even the school children are also using very frequently. You go to a house, the right starting from the housewife to the servant, they are using the word stress and tension. So what exactly is the stress? We need to understand what happens. Our mind creates thoughts, and there is a particular frequency at which the thoughts are being generated. Now when the thoughts generated in our mind exceeds a particular limit in an unit time, then what happens? There is congestion of thoughts. When there will be congestion of thoughts, it is just like congestion of vehicles on a bridge. What happens if you are crossing a river on a bridge and there are vehicles coming from both the sides, and there are a lot of vehicles of different shapes and sizes, and they get congested, then there is a traffic jam which occurs, and it takes a lot of time to clear the traffic jam, then only the other vehicles can move freely. Similarly, in our day-to-day life, lot of thoughts are generated, and when the thoughts are crisscrossed, then what happens? There is always a congestion of thoughts in our mind, and we become a prey of the stress. So if this kind of congestion of thoughts keeps prevailing in our mind for long days, years, weeks, months together, then we become a chronic patient of stress. And when we suffer from stress, the stress brings to our life lot of physical problems like insomnia, like diabetes, like weight gain or weight loss, like lack of appetite, like um, the joint pain, like acidity, many kinds of, yeah, or even diseases of higher orders. So stress is something which is to be taken care of, which is something which needs to be managed, so that we protect ourselves from the physical illness, we protect ourselves from the mental depression and mental illness, and we can perform in our workplace, in our social activities in a more effective and efficient way. So we generally use the word stress when we feel that everything seems to have become too much. Sometimes we get stressed because a lot of thinking, a lot of thoughts are generated in our mind from different directions on different issues. So we do not think of the same subject for continuously for long hours. We keep thinking of X, we keep thinking of Y in between, we keep thinking of Z in between, and this X, Y, Z together, they confuse our mind, and they create the traffic jam or thought jam in our mind that leads to generation of stress, and actually that leads to generation of tension. Now this tension, when it becomes very chronic, very what do you say, it keeps it stays with us for a long time, then it becomes stress, and stress has got several detrimental effects on our physical and mental health. And when we are suffering from congestion of thoughts, we are get overloaded, and we wonder whether we can really cope up with the pressure placed upon us or not. Now, before we go to the stress management, actually there are two myths, there are two wrong belief system that we need to remove from our mind. First is that stress is natural. Many people say it is very natural these days to be under stress. So when we see somebody under stress, or when we ourselves start suffering from stress, we take it to be natural and normal, and we think we are no different from others. So it is a very common thing, and there is nothing to worry about it. Please remove this wrong belief system from your mind if you have so. because stress is not normal, stress is not natural, stress may be common in many of us, but it is not a natural phenomenon. Because when a child takes birth, he or she is also a human being, but he doesn't suffer from any stress, because had it been natural, then even the newborn child would have stress. So it is not natural. It is uh, stress is natural is a wrong belief system. And another myth is that stress is due to others. Whenever we are suffering from stress, we always point our fingers towards a situation, or towards a person, or towards an incident, towards an event, or towards a word or sentence which is causing stress for us. Actually, for the same, that is called the, that can be a trigger for you being stressed, but that is not the cause of stress. Because the with the same trigger, with the same stimulus, the responses of different persons can be different. Suppose somebody is telling us, somebody is scolding us with a slang, or some wrong wording he is using against us. Then what happens if he is using the same word against me? I may respond in a different way, I may react in a different way than the way you will react. So our responses and our reactions will be different. They will not be exactly same. Had it been natural, then it would have been, they both of them would have been same. But that is not same in the actual place, actual situation. So it is not, stress is not due to others. It stress, others may create a situation which may trigger, or which may create a stimulus in us to uh, create stress. But stress is our own creation, and we should be very careful and knowledgeable about it. So two things just remove from your mind. One is stress is natural. No, it is not natural. And stress is due to others. No, it is not due to others. Now, what is stress? See, all of us are mechanical engineers, and stress is a word that we often use in mechanical engineering, in mechanics, in theory of machine, and design. Okay, and we all are very thorough in different types of stresses: tensile stress, then flexural stress, bending stress, torsional stress, and all that. So, what is stress? Stress is force per unit area. What kind of force? The restoring force per unit area, and its unit is megapascal, Newton per meter square. We know this. Similarly, in the from the perspective of spirituality, if you see, or prospect of psychology, if you see stress, what is stress? Stress is the external pressure divided by our coping ability. Means how much pressure that we are subjected to from different sides. As a human being, as a person, you experience external pressure from your workplace, from your boss, from your director or principal. You may get external pressure from your family members at home. You may get pressure from the um, from the persons around you socially. You may get pressure from the financial um, situation of yours. Maybe you are running a financial crisis, and that is creating pressure on you. You may have physical health problem, and that is causing an external pressure on your mind. You may have some relationship issues with someone, and that is causing external pressure on you. So there are many sources of external pressure in and around. Say if you have to travel from one place to the other, then in this pandemic, that is an external pressure. Then how to go, how to use the bus or train, and how you can, I can prevent myself from getting infected. That itself is just external pressure. So there are many external pressures, many external pressures. Pressure from the workplace, pressure from the social life, pressure from family life, pressure from your finances, pressures from your um, friends and relatives. So there are so many sources by which the external pressure are built on us, and we are all prone to it. But can you change them? No. All these situations, those all these sources will remain present. You cannot change the external pressure. So if stress is like force per unit area, if stress will define mathematically as external pressure by coping ability, then in order to reduce stress, what you should do? You cannot change the numerator. So external pressures will be there. Maybe they will become more and more day by day. So in order to reduce stress, what you can do, because you cannot touch the numerator, the only thing you can try with is, you can play with is coping ability, your coping ability, how much you can cope up with the external pressure. So you can increase that. So coping ability can be increased in order to reduce stress. What is coping ability and how to increase them? Coping means, if there is a situation, if there is a adverse situation, if there is a unpleasant situation which will come in my life, how can I cope up with that? What is my ability to cope up with that? What is my ability to face it and withstand it and pass it on, or say pass it over? So that is called coping ability, and that is an internal concept altogether. Coping ability does not depend on your muscle strength, does not depend on your financial strength, does not depend on your social status, doesn't depend on your what do you say, the professional position and power that you enjoy in the workplace. So coping ability uh, absolutely altogether is a inner phenomenon. Inner, it is your own inner ability as a person, it is part of your personality, it is your soul energy, soul energy, or it is your internal energy. It has nothing to do with your bank balance or your physical muscle power or your power and position in the workplace. It's nothing to do. How to increase that coping ability? Because had it been there, even we see people at high places, they also collapse. They also sometimes do not take are not able to take pressures. So they also come out with disastrous results. So they, because they lack coping ability. So how to improve your coping ability? Because only and only by improving your coping ability you can reduce your stress. Now my topic name is 3456 concept. So I'll be telling about the four numbers: 3, then 4, then 5, and then 6. So this, in every number I will tell you something which you need to remember and try applying in your life, day to day life, and you will find that you are getting less and less stress, and one fine morning you will find that you started leading a stress free life. So I will start with 3. So my advice will be, nurture 3Q. So we need to understand 3Qs. There are 3Qs in our personality, in our life, in our entity, in our I as in our existence. There are 3 dimensions. One is, and all the 3 dimensions are denoted by Qs. One is the IQ, which is intelligent quotient. One is the emotional quotient, EQ, and one is the spiritual quotient. Actually, in our life, right from our beginning, the way we were brought up, our parents, our society, our surroundings have taken a lot of care to take to nurture our IQ and partly EQ. Nowadays, what is happening, we can see that the IQ is stressed upon mainly because IQ means, if you have high IQ and if you use your IQ, then you can intelligent question. Then every parents encourage the child to be intelligent rather than encouraging the child to be good and a better person, to become good and become a better person. They always encourage the child to become an intelligent person so that he can get material success. IQ will give you material success in life. With a high IQ, with proper utilization of your IQ, you can get a good job, you can get a good salary, you can get a good position, and you can also perform well. But very often in your life, you require EQ, that is emotional intelligence or emotional quotient, the lack of which will deprive you of everything. We have seen that people have become IS topper or IIT topper, and they have got good salary, good job, but they one fine morning you find that they commit suicides, or they resign from their post and run away. So you find that they suffer from heart attack without any reason. That is because of their low degree of low intensity of emotional quotient or EQ. But apart from IQ and EQ, there is another Q which is very important, perhaps the most important, and at the same time is most neglected. That is called the spiritual quotient. So SQ in our life, in most of our life, I do not pinpoint uh, all of you, I say most of our life, we are lacking SQ. We are lacking enough training on spiritual quotient, requirement of spiritual quotient, essentiality of spiritual quotient, and components of spiritual quotient. It is just like, suppose you are say getting ready to go to a marriage reception. Then what you do? You normally wear your suit and all the best possible um, dress, and then you look at you in your dressing table or in the mirror. So when you look at the mirror, what you see, do you ask yourself a question: do I look good? Am I looking good today? Because when you are going to a party, you all like to look good. Okay, so you ask yourself, am I looking good? Now you may be looking good, so that is the IQ part. You may be, your IQ says okay, you are looking good. You may be looking good, but you may not be feeling good, because the marriage reception which you are going to attend, you are not in a good relationship with the person who is hosting the party. So you may be going there by some compulsion, but you may not be enjoying it. So you are not feeling good. So your EQ says, how are you feeling? Am I feeling good? Then that is your EQ. And SQ says, am I really good? So SQ go to the inner core of your personality and asks you that whether you are really good or not. It doesn't matter whether you look good. It also matters less if you feel good, but it matters a lot in life whether you are good or you are bad. So if you ask these questions to yourself every time you carry out any venture, then you can nurture your three Qs. And these nurturing three Qs, or at least being aware of the three Qs, the IQ, EQ, and SQ, we can uh, we can be a better person every day. We can start helping, we can start understanding others feelings, and we can start being good, and then from good to better and better to best every day, every single day. And that will reduce our stress levels, because when you start feeling good and you start experiencing goodness or pleasantness in your mind, then naturally your stress level will be less. Then in this concept of 3 4 5 6, we finished 3, now we are coming to 4. In the 4, we can say that there are 4 C's which you need to avoid. So if we can somehow avoid, or if you can somehow become aware of the 4 C's that I am going to listing out shortly, and then, and we can, if you can refrain ourselves from this 4C, then you will find that your stress level is going down very fast. So what are the 4C's? One is criticize. Criticizing others has become a very favorite pastime of many of us. So we, for everything and anything, we criticize the government, we criticize the authority, we criticize the boss, we criticize our parents, we criticize our children. So criticizing others drains away a lot of energy, and it also creates a lot of negativity in our mind. So the mind gets congested and contributes towards stress generation. So very carefully and very what do you say, consciously, we should avoid criticizing others. Similarly, complaining. For any discomfort of ours, we start complaining against the authority, complaining against the government, complaining against the municipality, complaining against different departments. So complaining is also a which we are very unaware of these things. We do it thinking that these things are natural, but these are not natural. If you slightly become aware, if you just keep a watch on what you are thinking and what you are speaking, then you can uh, control this criticizing, complaining, etc., to a very large extent. So complaining against others or complaining against each other, it also takes away a lot of our spiritual energy, and makes us a negatively charged species. So another thing is competition. Competition has become a disease of this this century. Now if my neighbor is having a big and more fancy car than what I am having, then I start competing with him for no reason. So competition is always among equals, but even if we are not equal, and in fact, to the truth is that no two persons in this universe are exactly equal. So there should not be theoretically any competition between anyone and with anyone. But still, we start competing with everyone and anyone we see in our vicinity, and this competition may bring us a new car tomorrow, but it is going to kill my mental happiness or spiritual happiness. So competition is another thing that we should be very carefully avoid. Then comparison is very much a part of the competition. When we start comparing, we are tempted to compete. So comparison is also a disease. Although our parents normally they have encouraged us to be competitive, actually the context was different. You should be competitive only with yourself. So what I am today, tomorrow I'll be a better of myself. The day after tomorrow I'll be still better of myself. So I'm competing and comparing with what I am today, what I am now. So that should be the spirit, rather than competing with my neighbor, competing with my boss, competing with my siblings, competing with my colleagues. So that is creating unhealthy situation, not at the physical level, not at the social level, or not at the professional level only. It creates a unhealthy environment inside our mind, and that creates, or that leads to the reduction of our coping ability with the external pressure. So once our coping ability gets reduced, we cannot, we become prone to the stress, and prone to become the victim of stress, and we suffer from lot many diseases and mental problems. So in my concept of 3 4 5 6, 3 Q's, 4 C's, and then we are coming to 5 A's. What are the 5 A's? The 5 A's are some 5 parameters which we need to accept, which we need to imbibe in our personality, so that we can reduce our stress to a very large extent. What are the things? Sometimes we feel that by mixing with this person, or by remaining in the company of a particular person or group, I am getting stressed, because maybe I'm not liking their words, maybe I'm not liking the way they are treating me, maybe I'm not liking the kind of gossip they are familiar with. So in such a situation, without fighting with them, without trying to rectify them, without trying to correct them, and without trying to prove them that you are right and they are wrong, we should avoid them. Okay, very congenially, very amicably, you can start avoiding them. So first A is avoid. Avoid the situation, place, people, and person in the presence of which, in the company of which you are feeling stressed. I don't say they are the cause of your stress, but you are somehow not able to manage your stress in their company. So better you avoid them. Then you alter means, if I am not feeling comfortable with a particular person, and I've started avoiding him, and I still need a companion to share my things with, then in that case I can alter, I can look for a better company, I can look for a more compatible company or person or place or situation or house or something. Then adapt. See, life is changing very fast, all systems are changing, every uh, relationships are changing, equations are, personal equations are changing. So you try to adapt to those changes. If you cannot adapt to changes, adaptability, if your adaptability is low, then you only will suffer, and the people will go ahead leaving you behind. So try to adapt things and changes that are taking place all around. Then accept the situation and people as they are. Okay, if you know a person is very angry and all the time he keeps scolding, and you have to work with him, then you cannot change him, because he will change only when he will like to change. He will not change if you like him to change. So that is the bitter truth, and you should accept this fact, and you should accept the person and the situation as he or she is. Okay, so if you lack acceptance, and if you always expect that he will change and then only you will accept him, then that day will never come, or will come by the time you will be spending a lot of your own spiritual energy, and time must have gone, must have run out. So accept situation, place, people as they are, then appreciation is a virtue. Appreciation is a very good human value. Appreciation is a very uh, what do you say, wonderful and very effective tool by which you can not only win others heart, you can also purify your own heart. So appreciation and showing gratitude to all is a very what do you say, wonderful human value which we must practice. If we practice appreciating others for every small and big things, then that appreciation will become a habit of yours. And by appreciating others, you will find that in some days you are getting appreciated by one and all around. Okay, so that will also create a kind of pleasantness in your mind, and your life will be stress free. So these are small things, but if you are slightly careful about these things, then you can change your lifestyle, you can change your state of mind, and you can also find that in few days you are able to work more efficiently, and you will feel that people have started liking you more than what the way they were liking you before. So in the concept of 3 4 5 6, we have come to 6. So 3 Q's, 4 C's, 5 A's, and 6 M. What are the 6 M that we manage? So we are all good managers, and we keep managing things uh, from our morning to night, and right from our birth to death. So what are the M's that we manage? We manage the 5 M's that we manage very well are money and man, material, methods, machines. So these are the, see, at any point of time, if you will just hold back, if you just stop and watch your thought, then you will find that you are thinking about managing this one of these five. Either you are thinking of managing your money, your finance, either you are thinking of some person whom you are going to, with whom you have got some work, or you want to get some work done by somebody, or if you want to say please somebody, or if you want to annoy somebody, or material, if you want to, if you're thinking of some material, buying or purchasing, or say selling out, or having or maintaining some material, or you are thinking of a method by which you can do it, or you are thinking of a machines that are helping you in carrying out your day-to-day job. So 5 M's, we are very particular, and unknowingly or unknowingly we are managing them very well, but we are actually neglecting in managing the most important M of our life, that is the sixth M. And what is the sixth M? Sixth M is mind. So we manage money, we manage man, we manage methods, we manage materials, we manage machines, but we fail to manage, or we are not very sure, we are not very, what do you say, uh, knowledgeable about whether we need to manage our sixth M, that is mind, or not. Now, what is mind? So I'm coming to the conclusion of my talk, because this M is very important as far as the sixth, as far as the stress management is concerned. And mind is part of our personality, or part of our soul, which creates the thoughts, or which generates the thoughts uh, which are sourced from different sources. Now, if you hold back and watch your thought, you will find that you are either thinking something which is positive, or we are thinking something which can be categorized as negative thoughts. What are the positive thoughts? The necessary thoughts. There are certain thoughts which are necessary, needs to be thought of so that the solution can be obtained. They are positive thoughts. Then there are some good thoughts. Now you look at a flower and you say, you exclaimed wow, like that's a good thought, because by looking at the flower, you are not thinking of destroying the flower or blocking the flower up. You are thinking and you are praising the nature. So it is a good thought, a creative thought. You want to create something. If you want to you want to initiate a good discussion. You want to take the class very efficiently in the classroom. You want to prepare slides, and you want the slides are very will be very attractive. So these kind of thoughts are creative thoughts. So, and there are people who think about other than themselves. They think about the rest of the world. They think how the poverty can be elevated. They think how to help a poor man. They think how to improve the conditions of a basti inhabitant. They want to education of the children, and they work for it. So they keep planning, and they keep thinking about those things which are at a much better level than a common man's aspirations and desire. So these are the elevated thoughts. So when you are creating necessary thoughts, good thoughts, creative thoughts, elevated thoughts, there are some kind of hormones that are generated in your physical system, and that gives you a state of pleasantness, and you become stress free. On the contrary, just watch your thought and hold back and see what kind of thinking you are making now. Say every 2 hours you just hold and watch your thought, whether it is a necessary thought. That what you are thinking, is it necessary to think right now? Is it a waste thought which has no consequence, no result, no output? Whether it's a destructive thought, you are thinking of, say, destroying a relationship, you are thinking of destroying a uh, creation, you are thinking of something, um, what to say, something, some kind of creating a damage, or you are thinking of, say, creating a catastrophe. You are thinking of murdering someone, you are thinking of, say, killing somebody. Then these are toxic thoughts. Now the unnecessary thoughts, waste thoughts, destructive thoughts, and toxic thoughts are categorized as negative thoughts. So what you find, you can, if you look at the science of the frequency of thoughts, you'll find that the positive thoughts are like this in the left side, sinusoidal waves. So the frequency is less, there is less number of waves per unit time. But here you will find the negative thoughts, the amplitude is, the frequency is very high, and number of thoughts becomes suddenly um, uh, go to the higher side than what a normal mind generally usually generates. So what happens if the frequency range is 14 hertz to 30 hertz? That means there is a number of certain number of thoughts that you are creating every minute. Then in a highly alert and focused stage, then that is called the normal brain. If you start meditating, if you start, just close your eyes, sit, try to keep yourself aloof from other things, listen to a song, or listen to a spiritual talk or a motivational talk, and or simply sit on the bank of a river, and or go to a forest and walk alone, then you will find that you are relaxed but you are alert. In that case, the frequency of thoughts come down, and you reach a state of mental pleasantness. Now there is an activity, spiritual practice called meditation. Those who meditate, they go from alpha stage to theta stage. In theta stage, the frequency of thought is still less. So very less number of thoughts, very slow moving thoughts, and that is a state of divinity, and it is a first stage where you there's a possibility of your getting connected to the divine, and the intensity of pleasantness that you experience is much higher. So that is a experience that one should have at least for few minutes in every day, and that can be accomplished only and only by meditation. Then of course there is a higher state called delta stage, which is a very higher stage in meditation. It is called the stage of samadhi, but there the frequency of thoughts is almost same as the frequency of thoughts a person in coma stage does have. Okay, so that is a very highly uh, uh, you can say a very rarely attainable stage called delta stage, where there is absolutely no stress, and the experience of pleasantness is very intense. So there are different stages: beta, alpha, theta, and delta. By meditating or by keeping ourselves a little calm and cool, taking some time off from our busy schedule, from our hectic professional and social and family life, if we can take out some time to relax and calm down by practicing meditation, we can migrate gradually from beta to alpha and alpha to theta. If we go to that, these go through this transformation, then the stress gets automatically managed and we experience a state of mental pleasantness. And this is possible only by a technique called meditation. There are large number of meditation techniques. India has got a very long and rich history and heritage of meditations. Now there are a lot of good meditation techniques like Isa Kriya, Sudarsana Kriya, Raj Yoga, Sambhavi Mahamudra, and there are many more. Only thing is that do not get confused by the word meditation and yoga. Yoga is different. Yoga is what is mostly yogasana, which is the physical component of this spiritual activity, whereas this is the mind management or mind meditation, or channeling the mind in a particular direction. That is meditation, and that helps you get relief from the high stress that we normally experience. Uh, with this, I wish you all a very stress-free life, and I'll be happy if the concepts of 3, 4, 5, 6, 3Q, 4Cs, 5A, and 6M is well taken and is followed by others in a small way or big way. If you follow it in a small way, you get small benefits. If you follow it in a big way and a regular way, you get big benefits. It is all up to you. Now, if you want more information or more of similar talks on mind meditation and spirituality and stress management or experiencing life, then you can watch, share, and subscribe my YouTube channel, Alok Sir Speaks.